What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss the fourth stimulus package update, stimulus check update, daily news, and everything going on here in our country, in Washington, D.C., and everything you need to know about on a daily basis. Money, investing, the stock market, you name it, we cover it here on our channel. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, make sure to click the subscribe button down below. It's completely free to do so you don't miss out on new videos that come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Help us reach 400,000 subscribers. We're so close. And become a part of our growing community here. You guys are amazing. Thanks for hitting the like button for us down below. We got a lot to talk about here. We're going to talk about $800 billion in stimulus money. And we're also going to talk about the Russia situation. We got a lot to talk about. Let's jump right in. The Senate is nearing a deal on possibly sanctioning Russia. That's right. The actual Senate is possibly coming to a deal to sanction Russia. That's right. As you can see here and here, senators close in on Russia sanctions deal. A pair of top senators said on Sunday that they are closing in on a deal on Russia sanctions amid ramped up tensions over Ukraine. This is bipartisan. Senators Bob Menendez, a Democrat from New Jersey, and a Republican Senator, Jim Risch from Idaho, the chairman and top Republican on the Foreign Relations Committee, said during a joint interview with CNN's State of the Union that they were on the cusp of an agreement with the goal of finalizing the legislation early this upcoming week. Here's what the senators had to say. Check this out.
I want to begin with a special exclusive this morning. Two top senators on the Foreign Relations Committee together, Democratic Chairman Bob Menendez of New Jersey and the Republican ranking member Jim Risch of Idaho. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me this morning. Mr. Chairman, I'll start with you. We have heard some stark warnings about a possible invasion from top American officials. The Ukrainian president is urging the U.S. to stop those dire warnings, saying it might cause panic in his country. Why is the U.S. assessment of what the Ukrainians are saying so different?
Well, good morning, Dana, and good to be with you and my friend and colleague, Jim Risch. Look, I think that President Zelensky is in a difficult position. Clearly, he must be preparing for the possibility of invasion or re-invasion, since Russia did that already in the past with Crimea and with irregular forces in eastern Ukraine. But at the same time, he wants to create a semblance of calm as it relates to his economy, which is a challenge for him as well. So I understand that, but there is a reason that President Biden has sent more aid to Ukraine, military aid, lethal aid, since 2014, $650 million. It's because you have 130,000 Russian troops. They are surrounding 3 different parts of Russia's borders, and you have to take seriously that the potential for an invasion is real. And so it's getting the Ukrainians to be prepared and to give them the wherewithal to defend themselves, at the same time understanding the economic needs that they have.
And Senator Risch, you've said that Russia is just setting up a pretext for war. Do you see any scenario in which Russia chooses not to invade at this point?
Well, I don't think that decision's been made yet. There's a lot of us that believe that if Putin sees weakness, if he sees bumbling, if he sees ineptitude, if he sees indecision, that he will take advantage of that. I don't think he's made a decision to do that yet. What Bob and I and a coalition of bipartisan senators are attempting to do is to project the resolve that we have as Americans to see that he doesn't do that, to provide the strength, to project the strength, and convince him that this would be a very, very bad idea, and it's going to be extremely painful. This is not the same as the Crimea when he did this last time. There is substantially more worldwide opposition to his thoughts this time.
And let's talk about what you just mentioned, Senator Risch. Chairman Menendez, you are working together. The two of you are leading a broader discussion, bipartisan discussion, to put together legislation to sanction Russia. The Ukrainians have written the two of you and the broader group specifically asking for help. So how close are you to a deal on this legislation?
Well, Senator Risch and I have been working with our staffs and colleagues, a bipartisan coalition, both on the Foreign Relations Committee and members off of the committee, in a intensive effort over the last week. I would describe it as that we are on the 1 yard line, and hopefully we will be able to conclude successfully. What there is no doubt is that there is an incredible bipartisan resolve for support of Ukraine, and a incredibly strong bipartisan resolve to have severe consequences for Russia if it invades Ukraine, and in some cases for what it has already done. And so what I would say is what we are devising, building upon the legislation that both Senator Risch wrote independently and I wrote, which I call the mother of all sanctions, it's to include a variety of elements, massive sanctions against the most significant Russian banks, crippling to their economy, meaningful in terms of consequences to the average Russian and their accounts and pensions, more lethal assistance to Ukraine, the ability to deal with Russia's sovereign debt, to look at sectoral elements of Russia's economy, which is largely an extracting economy on energy, to sanction its sovereign debt. These are sanctions beyond any that we have ever levied before.
Right.
And I think that that sends a very clear message.
So you heard it there from the senators. They are looking at sanctions at Russia, quote, the likes of which we have not looked at before, potentially blocking Russia's money flow. You heard it there, and this could be very significant again against Russia. And they're looking at doing this even though Russia has not actually invaded into Ukraine yet. Let me know your thoughts on this. What do you think is going to happen here, and what do you think Russia's response will be? And remember, I reported a few days ago that China actually backed Russia against Ukraine here a few days ago. So remember that that is a whole nother kind of interesting conflict here. That China's somewhat siding with Russia in this whole conflict. So I don't know where this is going to end up, but this is kind of growing larger and larger. Let me know your thoughts on this, and where do you think this is going to lead to? Also, new reports are coming out on unspent stimulus funds over additional pandemic relief. And new reports are coming out that there's potentially $800 billion left in unspent stimulus funds. Check this out. Republican Senator Roy Blunt co-authored a letter to the administration questioning why the country is still facing testing shortages and other pandemic issues, and blaming a, quote, fundamental lack of strategy and a failure to anticipate future testing needs by the administration. Democrats anticipate a new White House request for additional funds to cushion the fallout from a lingering pandemic that could pump more money into testing, vaccines, hospitals, schools, and all sorts of stimulus-related items. But after several previous rounds of relief, including last year's mammoth $1.9 trillion stimulus package, the third stimulus check package, any new request is sure to be met with questions about existing funds are still in the pipeline. This is because Congress still has about $800 billion remaining in unspent stimulus money, according to the Committee for Responsible Federal Budget, a think tank. Those through those figures are reported with a lag. So there is actually $800 billion remaining in unspent stimulus money. This is actually enough money for two $1,400 stimulus checks. Yeah. So think about this. There's $800 billion in unspent stimulus money that has already been approved. So they could easily take, so remember the $1,400 stimulus check that was sent out underneath Biden in last year in end March, April last year, that cost about $400 billion, and that was $1,400 for adults, $1,400 for children, and $1,400 for dependents who didn't even receive stimulus checks last time around. That was for college dependents and adult dependents who were left out of the first and second stimulus checks. They literally didn't even receive round one and round two. So that was the largest stimulus check to go around. Not only because the $1,400 was the most amount, more than any other stimulus check, but it was the most amount for children who only received $500 to $600 for round one and round two. They received $1,400 this time around. But also adult dependents, college student dependents who didn't even receive a stimulus check this time got $1,400 as well. They got nothing. So this was the largest stimulus check for everybody. That cost about $400 billion, 400 billion with a B. This new report says that there's $800 billion left around. So they could easily take half of this money and send out another $1,400 stimulus check, get everybody caught up due to this pandemic. Remember, there's 80 million people right now, approximately, that are behind and cannot pay their bills because of just how bad. Remember, it's a K-shaped economy, right? So you see these reports right now that economy's doing good, unemployment's doing good, but we have 80 million people that are not doing good. It's a K-shaped economy. So you have some people doing good. That's the upper leg of the K. Think about a K with the upper leg of the K, and then we have the lower leg of the K. Those are the people that are struggling and not doing good. That's the K-shaped recovery. If you hear me say that, or if you hear anybody else say that on the news or anywhere, it's a K-shaped recovery. We have some people doing good, and we have some people not doing good. 80 million people. That's a lot. So, and that's why they could easily send out a stimulus check to people making $75,000 or under, people making $50,000 or under, whatever they determine to be. And they could do this without approving any new stimulus money at all. They wouldn't need to add to inflation. They wouldn't need to print any new money. This is money that has already been approved. It wouldn't have to add to inflation for people that are concerned about that. It wouldn't need to add to the debt. It wouldn't need to do anything like that because this is money that has already been allocated for. It's money that's already been approved. Some of this money goes all the way back to Trump with stimulus package 1, stimulus package 2. Some of this money is from stimulus package 3 underneath Biden. It's a combination of it. This is money that's already been allocated. It wouldn't add to inflation because it's already been there. It's already been printed. It's already been allocated. It's already accounted for. And all they could do is just give this to the people who need it the most. Yeah, so this could literally help out the most needed, the people who need it the most, and send out another $1,400 or $2,000 stimulus check. And I mean, think about it. There's 80 million people right now that are behind on their bills. I mean, you could let me know your thoughts in the comments, but we have millions and millions of people right now advocating and pushing, signing petitions. We have the Senior Citizens League pushing for a $1,400 stimulus check. We have over 3 million people that have petitioned for a $2,000 stimulus check. We have so many people. We have people losing their SNAP benefits because their cost of living adjustments went up, which is really just accounting for inflation. And so what happens is the inflation goes up and people lose part of their food assistance, their SNAP benefits, which is the most craziest thing I've ever heard. How that's even a thing is just beyond me. Your cost of living, Social Security goes up just to account for inflation, which is really just to keep you even with inflation. And what happens? You lose your food assistance. How that's even a thing is just mind-blowing to me. And we really need to get that changed in Congress. This is just one of the things we need to get changed in Congress, right? If you've heard me talk throughout the months, just so many things that there's not paid family and medical leave. Women go to give birth, and then they're expected to go back to work on Monday. Like, what? We're in a pandemic, and millions of people are sick. My brother-in-law Jim was out sick and went to the hospital, and like, what, you're just expected to go back to work on Monday? Like, what happens if you don't have paid leave from your job? Like, We're in a pandemic. Like, we're the only first world country to not have paid leave. There's just so many things right now that have been exacerbated from this pandemic that kind of make you wonder, like, why we're supposed to be the richest country in the world. We're supposed to be the best country in the world. And I honestly think, I mean, there's no other country I would want to live in, right? And I always look for the good. I always look for the good, no matter whether we have a Republican president, Democratic president. I fully consider myself a patriot. I consider myself an American. But I really think that because of this pandemic, there's really a lot of things that um, have been exacerbated, have kind of come to light that really need to be changed, right? And we kind of see this now because of the pandemic. And I've brought this up before where, like, you see things like, 9/11 brought airport security to light, and it was like, ooh, yeah, we never really thought about that. But you're right, we do need airport security to be kind of tight. People shouldn't be able to just kind of walk into the airport and watch the planes. But we never really thought of that before, right? And when we go back to the Great Depression, we didn't have the Social Security program. We didn't have the unemployment program where if you lost your job, you were just SOL, right? And these kind of new programs, the Social Security program, which literally 60 some million people rely on for part or all of their living expenses, where would we be without those programs now? Think about you go to work one day and all of a sudden your job just says, sorry, we got to let you go. Well, at least we have these programs in place to get you by with unemployment for the time being so that you can feed your family and not lose your home, whether you're renting, buying, or whatever, right? At least you have some sort of security in there called the unemployment program where you're not just out on the street. It wasn't too long ago where that wasn't the case. There was no Social Security program and there was no unemployment program not less than 100 years ago. In fact, one of our winners from the last What's in the Box giveaway, who won, she was 95 years old. And so she was alive when these programs didn't exist. So think about that. It's just less than one lifetime ago when Social Security didn't exist and unemployment didn't exist. Yeah, so if you kind of think about how much has changed in less than one lifetime, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's just a couple programs here. And now when we kind of thinking about this new pandemic, how many things are up for consideration and are considering being changed here? Think about rent assistance and mortgage assistance and utility assistance. That's relatively a new thing. If we go back not too many years ago, that type of stuff didn't exist. Think about the government would help you pay your rent, help you pay your mortgage, help you pay your utilities. Not too long ago, that type of stuff didn't exist either. And stimulus checks also as well. That didn't exist either not too long ago. If you go to a lot of other countries, that's unheard of, right? So a lot of these programs are actually helping a lot of people. And again, not too long ago, they didn't even exist. So going forward, I think that we are going in the right direction. But on the other hand, there's still tens of millions of people that are completely struggling. So you can let me know your thoughts. I'll be here every single day advocating for you, being your voice on a daily basis. I see your comments here every single day, and I will be here as a voice for you guys with the truth every single day of what's going on here in Congress on a daily basis. Let me know your thoughts. I'll be here for you guys every day, letting you guys know what's going on in Congress and in our country, and also as a voice for you guys, letting you guys know what's going on and also kind of projecting for you guys. Because again, I want to create some movements here in Congress. I have had congressmen and congresswomen reach out to me in the past because again, I've had over 150 million views here on our channel. We have a large voice. I want to be a voice for the community here as well and create some kind of movements here in 2022 and hopefully be a voice for you guys and for a part of our community. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. I'll keep you up to date on what's going on here. Make sure to subscribe to our channel down below. It's completely free. It literally costs nothing. All you got to do is click the subscribe button. This way you won't miss out on our new videos that come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Remember those times. Don't miss any new videos. After subscribing, you can click the bell icon that appears after you subscribe to get reminders when we go live with new videos. You can click here to watch my newest video next, and you can click here to watch our newest video about state stimulus checks. There's like 10 or more states that have just announced or in the process of working on state stimulus checks here in 2022. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.